I'm gonna give Bernadette Mayer's Midwinter Day Part 1 a whirl here. It's about 26 pages. Yeah, give it a read, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Alright. Stately, you came to town in my opening dream. Lately, you've been showing up a lot. I saw clearly you were staying in the mirror with me. You walk in, the hills are green. I keep you warm, placed in this cold country in a town of mountains, replaced from that balmier city of yours near the sea. Now it's your turn to fall down from the love of my look. You stayed in the hotel, called your daughter's arms. No wonder the mother's so forbidding, so hard to embrace. I only wait in the lobby, in the bar. I write. People say, "What is it?" I ask if I must tell all the rest. For never, since I was born, and for no man or woman I've ever met, I'll swear to that, had there been such dreams as I had today, the 22nd day of December, which, as I can now remember, I'll tell you all about, if I can. Can I say what I saw in sleep, in dreams? And what dreams were before your returning arms took me like a memory to the room I always return to when thought turns to memory's best love. I learned to desire from an acquired habit of vigilant fear, till again to my nursed pleasure you and this love reappear like a story. Let me tell you what I saw. Listen to me. You must be. You are the beginning of the day. When we are both asleep, you waken me. I'm made of you. You must hear what I must say. First I thought I saw people all around me, wondering what it is I write. I saw up close the faces of animals. I slid down a long grassy hill, past everyone doing everything. I was going faster. There were no streets to cross, no dignity lost. A long story without pausing. I was racing. No one approved of what I was learning. I saw a woman's daughter. We met on the stairs. I saw everything that was ever hidden or happening. I saw that my daughters were older than me, but I wanted to see further. Nobody, including you, of all the people doing things, was approving of my sliding like this down the long tilting hill. Past the place to play and all the past, I saw the moons, last quarter in the southern sky at dawn. Then I saw the shawls of the dream as if they were the sky, and the dream's dark vests and the dream's collar and cuffs of black leather on the dream's black leather jackets. I was alone in the dream's dressing room, trying on different styles of touch gangwear or rain gear. In the dream, my daughters Sophia and Marie are always with me. Then we climb a mountain to the Metcalf's house. Nancy's fixing us the 18 intricate courses of a Japanese dinner. We sit at a counter curving around the kitchen, like what they call a kidney-shaped pool, eating hearts of heads of wet red and green lettuce, in the most high and palmy state of friendly love. Then Paul takes us all on a trip. A while ago, the Japanese lady who lives next door smiled when Marie smelled the fragrance of her cultivated rose. Sometimes dream is so rampant, so wild, as to seem more luxuriant than day's repose. So without riot spreading everywhere, how can I be both here and there? Then I found a message in an oversized book on the way to Allen Ginsberg's nursery school, where Ken Kesey was conducting a big picnic. Then I saw all the buildings of New York drawn to look like the illustrations in a children's book. I dreamed the road was so slippery from a truck's oil spill, we had to stop at a truck stop, though our friends who were ahead of us might lose us. All the food in this place is served in a big dollhouse, and the salads in a hat box. They're catering to us. It's hilarious. Suddenly we all crack up. We say, "You don't just eat dessert from the desire to see a vine," which today is called a chicken sandwich. You do seem to eat because you wear a hat, and so the hat's box is empty and must be filled with food. Do you see what I mean? It was a special restaurant. I was with Grace Murphy. Then I dreamed I was ordering pom-poms, not those ornamental tufts on hats and not chrysanthemums, but a kind of rapid-fire machine gun. Really, I can't figure out what's good and what's bad. I know I want to awaken feeling, some remembered perfection, from which I crave a homeopathic dose of evil, like the hair of the dog in the proverb, to offset the unsteady state of memory. What man or woman could this be involving? So fleet it is indulging. in not quite flying, but dreaming, flaunting the short-lived continuity of a sound like hummingbirds. What is a story? Can I say that here? Or should I wait till later, wherever the question of life's chronology of satisfying the favored senses might better gratify the falling course of the grave day, as I must come closer to inevitably waking up like a dying man is dying, spoiling the favor, you might grant me to extend this liberal time, and remit my punishment due though I've confessed already, and been forgiven. Are you going to convince me there's nothing more to dream up? Like sins not committed, but related anyway? To cover innocence? Always listening to everything you see, watching the sounds of the day. Wouldn't it be possible to eat everything? All the collected foods, even you. And oneself, like the dinosaurs just dying out in some uncountable, hungry fall, cunningly saint-like? The night cometh, when no man can work, and David saw that Saul was come out to see his work. I dream. I vault the fence. There's a cheerleader. Who needs to be kissed and caressed? It's like a blizzard. Like my father, I lost my color wheel when I died. I go vaulting over the consequent fence, and with my ambition, I meet Gregory Peck. I always do. He looks like you. We go to the movies again. We go to two. We always do. And all the children are put, thrust, driven, goaded, impelled, and flung, urged and pushed into bed. Then I can dream. We move again to the house where I was born. I'm wandering and forgetting. We are arranging what rooms each of the children will finally sleep in. Can Marie sleep in the hall bedroom? Or is Andrew still alive? Andrew, who's like Bill, or Bill's like him, this state of things in dreams could kill friendship if I told all, even to Uncle Andrew, who's also a lot like Clark. Anyway, I know we must share this copied house with my grandfather, another Andrew, who is a little mean. Now everybody's here in this room, and we are a party to death. I look at the old uncle, who is still Andrew or Bill. I'm trying to remember where in time I am. I study his face, but all I see is plain expression. Not the look of a man who's dead and knows it, like something or someone nobody absolutely needs to know. I decide not to say anything about it. Already I've looked closer without moving to him. A man without responses, but that's beyond all this. I say to myself in dream, it's all the same. All the people in this room will surely die sometime. Who cares which ones are already dead? I'm just here now. In my dream, like I always am among the charms of sweet Andrew, charming Bill, I can't go on. Is there an end to such love and the duty of dreaming? Things seen, eyes closed, not seeming to be dreams? Like the blackest edges once I saw outlining each law in spring one year, or the jewels I saw with grace lying together before a thunderstorm, I could suggest to her then, and she to me, what kind of thing would appear to us next, in the train of the vision moving from right to left, under love's closed eyes. I hope you can see as much when I try to suggest among lines of the evaporating word what idea I've seen, what image each dream heard. There's no end to a narration of forms, from all the ways of looking eyes closed. Now I see what's ordinary like a sky, or weather I can hear without ever looking, as blind people suddenly given sight sometimes will abhor it and shut their eyes again to be more conversant with the actual view. And I know you too can see better in the dark. Love's eyes open anyway behind your quiet shoulder. I dream you awaken in its day. I wish for the night of our reassuring love, daily taken to the market and all kinds of stores, to be ridiculed and fooled, ignored and reduced, daily tested by the tedium of uncondensed routine, long mornings and lightless afternoons that exist in time, till the night for both our work and love makes us feel love is the same. Before we had children, we used to work all night, eyes open, then sleep for the day, eyes closed to people's mornings. If we could, we'd walk out independent, seeing everything so benefiting us, the sun, and moving, then sleeping among our bright love, the path of the sun becoming a modest warning of something we were studying, Now that our days are full of normal parts, it seems we have all lived forever so far. Eyes open, eyes closed, half open, one eye open, one closed to the coming day, past's insistence, dreams, vivid presence, no one knows why, though you can all see, I say, with half an eye. I always have an eye to fascination, you catch my eye. This meditation, not on sleep, but on awakening, with dreams, with everything quickening, you and I survive this work and rest, not so much lost. We only seem to dream as quickly as we live, one for the other to make up time. And it's as if today I had someone else's dreams. Everything's the reverse of what it seems. Alone at last, I'm also with you. The weather's fine, the sky's not only blue, like long preludes. I dream, I don't want to get into this, but it's soothing and exciting like weathering this desire for you. You are being blown maybe away, maybe from me by two men, maybe they're women, I don't know. At Ted and Alice's house, it's like love. I was mad, I was jealous, it was like love. It must be that dreaming has its effect on dreams. Lying on a bed, in the dream, Ted is on the phone like the Thomas Edison, Tom, Ed, or even John Thomas, or the anonymous electrician. That he is, he said, and Alice said it's silly to be dead, or jealous either, but I feel mute, dumb, and mad. And thus alive to those two women, or are they men, who are giving you a blowjob, or at least repairing you, which has to do with something Alice said, and something Bill said about the dangers of another. The other is too. Is this a clue to wake up from dreams, and see what I'm forgetting? Then a woman I was watching was laid, forgive me, on a table for something medical to be done, like the glimpse of a scene I innocently noticed in a movie on TV. God, please let me be released, like all songs, versions of all loss of love, from the movie version of any of my memories. Let me go. Incident in San Francisco. Let me be. I've seen all this before just as innocently. Do I have to add that in this sense, I am an incestuous, guilty whore? Please love me anyway, even if I dream my blood must be exchanged for the blood of another relation. Before your eyes made new like my old reputation, something was introduced into the system or taken, an operation, no clearer to me than I've made it to you. Sorry. That's how it was. I was watching a woman, and something was being done to her tentatively. Then recovered, we sat down together to eat. A large, flat, dull, dry cake, like awful life. I broke it into pieces in my adolescent plate. Mothers and fathers, beware of these bereft dream cakes. Not like Nancy's mother's milk potato pancakes, but dry and without salt and fat preserving life. Desultory and unleavened, like communion. As pleasant to taste as the host eaten at a funeral mass. I do take in this sadomasochistic ceremony. Obviously not medical, but cannibalistically sexual, primary and hereditary. It reminds me of Marie's fascination with watching, Sophia's response to pain, and in this revolting sextet of dreams, where there are two of everyone in every scene, I am watching and hungry to wait, while something's done to someone. Not me or Bill or Nancy or Andrew, but Lewis, who, if I need him, can stand in dreams for my entire past. Not to speak of his love for Bill and Bill's for him, Nancy's mothering, my love for that pleasure, for her, Paul and Bill and Lewis and all their parents, formidable Adrian, not Paul and Nancy's daughter of that name, but another one who's dark. The dream's not exactly fair. Their other daughter's name is Anne. Nancy had 2 girls. So have I. So did my mother and Beverly. That's Bill's wife. There are 2 Bills. And so, to take a breath, if Bill and Paul and Lewis could be fathers to me, because each is a man who has had 2 daughters, then they could also be the 2 men in the dream who became 2 women. Must I go on? Ted and Alice have 2 boys. And Ted could be short for Theodore, my father's name. So even if the 2 men were Ted and Alice's 2 sons, it's clear the women they became were my 2 daughters, seducing their father. Do you see what I mean? No wonder I was so mad. And that's why the woman had to have an operation, Bill said. An old Greek woman he used to pass on the street. saw him with his 2 daughters and said, "A big man like you, why not produce sons? If Louis is my father and my daughter is my mother, after whom she's named, then all this confusion in the dream legitimizes this scene, and it is not incest. First, girls as infants love their mothers who are women. Then girls learn how to love men unless they become homosexuals. Boys love their mothers first too and can continue to love women when they grow up unless they're homosexuals. The mothers of men and women are always being loved more later by sons than by daughters who seem to love fathers better. Because that's the way it is. They say women love later in a more complicated way than men who never had to learn to change the sex of what they might call the love object, though they might have anyways. There's more to it than that, like a woman's identification with a hat on the ground, or a man's with cars, wars, or the other way around. Bill said his brother belongs in the Hare Krishnas, who only want to have sons, not daughters, like the old idea of them throwing them in the river. This dream unnerved me. Famous Louis isn't Theodore, gift of God, nor is Ted. I'm not Marie Anne Bernadette. I'm Bernadette Frances Catherine. My daughter has a teddy bear. Fuck this shit. Let's get on with it. Let's die of fucking respect. This respectable mourning is fucking forbidden. Day's desirable plans are dressed like dreams, which sell the whole of what I've already bought once. Back to me, night's deal, to become a part of day's dalliance with the logic of dreams' art. I'd like to open a stationery store in a small New England town. It'd be called The Scarlet Letter. I dream I'm Lillian Hellman, meeting Jane Fonda. I don't know why. As far as I know, Louis's aunt, Julia, is fine. Perhaps it's because Heather, a name like Pearl, is the name of the printer's daughter, and his business is called the Hawthorne Press, which reminds me of another dream about a luncheonette like this random rhyming this joint was Puerto Rican. And like Mike's Variety, which used to sell stationery in this narrow town, it was a long, narrow place. Kind of what you might call a hole in the wall. In the dream, we live upstairs, like the local grocer, Reno Ciminini, who reminds me of the Borgias, or a burger, running a place you can run down to for coffee to go. In the dream, they served hot spiced jelly at a clean white counter. The jelly's on a lazy Susan. I feel I'm on vacation. Keith Thompson, Heather's father, is behind the counter, saying how hard is it to run a small business, just like Hawthorne, he says, who ran a bookstore, combined with a pepper mill, as we all know. Maybe it was called The Scarlet Letter in the dream. I can't remember. It's night. I stay a long time, then you come limping and staggering down the street. Louis, why are you so old and so sick? Then I see it's not you at all. It's only my mother. And once again, I help you down the street. You're complaining. I remember you're interrupting all my fun. Dear Louis, when I imagine something's wrong with me, I immediately attribute this weakness to you. And in this way, I make you stand in for my mother, as I'm sure most people who live together secretly do. I do apologize. I know you are completely another. Then Bob Callahan, pretending to be Don Bird, came to snap our picture, and we felt he might steal our souls. He had a craggy old face like the detective in Nicholas Freeling's books, Henri Castan. I looked at Bob's face while he posed us. He said you must hold still for 2 whole minutes. The camera starts buzzing and clicking by itself. Like a time exposure, gone haywire, except you could see inside, to the shutter, and the lens like a lentil, all the secret future. Then I said, please only do our profiles. It's much too long to look. And that's when someone brought in my old broken trunk. We were going to use it, but I guess Marie broke it, and the whole inside or lining of the trunk was coming out. I think to myself, I guess that's my body. And this means I'm dreaming isolation is more healthy than having a family. Saying this seemed to make sense. Then I said, I guess it's really broken and cannot be repaired at all. And that's the end. How suggestible. As in a dream of leaves under fluorescent lighting. Next I dream I'm imitating your handwriting. These dreams are like arithmetic by Plato. I can count and figure the shadow of each mother, daughter, father, each representative. I dream. A strong brown woman, not a black woman, but a woman named Brown, who stands for a rich motherly woman, had us to her house for a party. It's a house like an institution with a gym. Then Cadillacs and big Lincolns and Mercedes-Benzes all line up by the side of the road for an assassination. There's a meeting of men, all the sons of the people of the world at the party, and suddenly, men on motorcycles come and assassinate all of them. We're standing directly in the dream's line of fire. Sophia, Marie, and I, but we don't get hit. Then we have to tell the woman her son is dead, shot by a gang of assassins. There's a complication. She doesn't seem to notice us. The party's moved to an indoor swimming pool, like in Alphaville, where people dive into the water while they're being shot at. She says, it's a happy occasion today, and we all say she must be a strong woman to deal in such a way with the death of her only son, the way daughters-in-law in books murder the rich mothers of their husbands to steal money and property and love away from them, like in Sabine, where an old woman poet is murdered because of her house. This is the mathematics. I'm the mother and the poet. Something is inferred about an artist who died. The daughters are intact. The dream sons are murdered. What's the equation? When the mother of the fear of daughters is the artist, not the patroness of double sons? Has she lost less? Is she the opposite of strong? They say it's a happy occasion when a baby's born. They say about the weather, what we curse we bless. The rich woman now stands for the mother, and the only son who died is the father. I can't continue with this. Then Gregory Peck sat in the front seat of the car and kissed his girlfriend. She was only 10 or 11 years old. He reminds me of you. We were at another party and he was on the phone to Hollywood. Who are the sons of Solomon? I denigrated the wine as being too sweet. Then the maid pointed out, each bottle still had a price label, $26.75. How prodigal all these rich people are, like the trees. I tried to find a way to get free of the indulgent rigidity, which made me resent good wine in a dream. I poured some more, but the room was so crowded the glass overflowed. Then we went to sleep, and I fell from my innocent bed almost in time to be caressed by a desirous Gregory Peck, you again, who used to be my mother's favorite actor, the man in the gray flannel suit. Why do the boys shout on the small street at night and crave the speed of cars? There's a girl who used to stand on the corner in the middle of town all day or sit across the street on the town's park bench, waiting, I imagine, to score something. The arithmetic is too personal, but fathers do have daughters. If they don't have sons, and Matthew Tannenbaum, whose name means Christmas tree in German, has a snapshot of a 12-year-old girl on his desk, in the dream, I get a quick casual kiss from Mr. Gregory Peck, though I'm falling out of bed from desire for his prick. I seem to be dreaming about all the rich mothers I know, who, in an image, might lose their sons in wars, while traditionally daughters give their fathers pleasure. In the idiosyncratic case of my dream obsessively, mathematically subtracting from the pleasure of the mother, of daughters whose husbands will inevitably want to murder her, while the father's in bed with the daughters, then won't the sons-in-law want to murder him? I've gone off the deep end. Dreams like obsessions are a relief not to think about. It's all counting and figuring wrong like arithmetic lists. Rich American people seethe within big cars, expand without, ever breaking the unaesthetic table with their frenetic fists. The best dreams are free stories like a present of food. I want to have a big dream about only leaves, or a place I've never seen which interweaves, not with the old subtractive love of which I am bereft, but the unequaled new, what I can't count, with which I am left. I saw another dream plane and a mechanical horse, so complicated I woke up before I could get on it. I was reminded of finding out from dreams what a story is. I was strongly invited to remember as an ember that the fairies terrified us inwardly. Even Peter hated me. I had to take the blame for being in a house without fortunes or beer, in a flat sandy town around the corner, from the mountains at the beach. We swam the channel in lanes, but the fairies terrified us. An old man, a transient, needed a cheap, peaceful place to stay. For a few days, he couldn't get the words out. I listen being patient because I'm also old. And I've learned to sit up straight. We lost all our money speculating in beer, manufactured like company matchbooks. I was in a lot of places like policemen go to. I explained all this. People, animals, and plants do what they do today again tomorrow. This is something I can't say about you. It follows that children take a long time to grow. We speed it up, but everything is slow, like the Straits of Gibraltar. Before I was being at the understood place, existing or happening now, I guess I was in process, and in contrast with past and future, today I'm the present writer. At the present time the snow has come. At this moment we won't starve. At once the Furies terrify us, and we need red and green peppers with our contrasting hands. At a time very close to the present, I want to get a tight pair of pants and dance with you, with things as they are. Now and then, just to talk, or reading to read, and exchanging great reading with others. Someone says, don't say sleep tight, and don't let the bedbugs bite. Now we'll never know if the dough I was kneading was Play-Doh or cash. I don't, do you? Just now people need Christmas money, sweet, thick-skinned red and green peppers. Gimme yours. Nowadays, that's not funny. Now and again I always need you. Don't be absurd. Go back to sleep. Come now. It's midwinter day, today a day, to cause the sun to stand still as it will anyway, at a point on its ecliptic furthest away, and from now on, they say, things will turn our way. To me, the sun complains of such a phony culmination, the great mistaken circle of the celestial sphere, sun's apparent annual path, man's mere erudition, old egocentric notions of who is who and what is where. Here, winter makes us wet and cold and old, like a man of 80 winters who will keep hot food on the rickety stove like stories told to pass midwinter night and never sleep. It's December. It's the dead of winter, remember? Sun setting red on the hill of red trees. Cold dusks, blue clouds, white skies. I count the days. I dream. And on the ships at sea in Spain, child's garden of verses. Worse things could happen. You could have married me, and I'd turn out to be Ava Gardner. Then you'd see a double murder, David said. You see, I'm a half poet in a child's detective coat. My instinct is to sleep in your old or that man's cellar. You see, I'm man, woman, or boy, girl at once. A car starts up to find us out hiding. You say, let's move the pillows so the driver won't see. He shows us his wardrobe in a wardrobe. He says, you see, I had to move to this cellar so nobody would steal my check shirts. You and I walked away from the table, but in the street as home was dismal, in this stumbling child's life, poetry's crowded all up again in anybody's room car, fucking up the gears of any day. You say, his or her highness is iterating something splendid. You owe world living, so world is owing to you. I dream. Everyone is doing something like delivering sun. I get nearer to the face of the moon. Someone says, I wanted to see Grand Central one more time. Before you remind me again, death like everything. I had to try to foresee, couldn't have been any other way. I love the bending window. I dream. It's a sandwich, but the bread is the meat. Your echoic lips dispel the pretty dream scene. I ask you then for toys and quick machines and Romanesque and Grecian westerns with lions. This eats this better than this. I dream. The dull moon's rehearsal for a day is a leaf, spread like muffins with butter from the trees. I just ate 30 of them, or 31, or 32, or 33, or 34. Soon my life is at least half over. Yet your secret lover's still asleep, must fear the world's displeasure, as of a mother. If she dreams of a man at whom a pie was thrown, if she dreams of awakening alone, it's the Annunciation again. I hate the dreadful patience of all these saints. These cold, stunned flies can't even move. Lying casually covered in pain everywhere and near, my bitten neck, my drafty desk, my lesbian pencil. And so they bite me. Winter flies. They can't die. As quick as I rush to the window to know the time of day and what's across the street to meet us when we wake. I'm patient with excitement to invite you to share what can't be seen. Every morning I think I've become the new weather, like embroidering something after, trying to remember the half-lies of dreams. A day halfway between fall and spring, to which I bring the past will rest exchanged, and forgetting but for you, to whom I turn to sing. From the vigil sleep has kept, we'll arise, hopefully with vigor like an unwise plant. We'll come to our senses excited and lively, like a watch kept on the eve of a festival. My devotions are held by such an eye to you. If I'm going to die, I think I'll paint your portrait formally to make us feel important in a style filled with messages and learned as if we're famous. I wonder what I see. Children cry at everything. They don't know logic like a habit. You hide though another admires it. You're bent for secretiveness or mystery, gratuitous benefits, like if humans could fly. I still think sheep for sleep not being learned yet at all. Not only did Stein write at night, but for mornings she's forbidden, remembering? I remembered to put out a new pencil for myself. Otherwise, sweet Shakespeare, I did want more. Sense of senseless helplessness, if fears not reformed like a Catholic before he can begin again. Better for her to forget it. What was it? I said nothing. I said surely I would have to change from being this, drunken, unreformed sybarite, to being a more sober mother. It was nothing forbidden, just fruit for more sleep, the way sleep can also be ideal. Hawthorne never wasted paper. His hand so cramped by the Berkshire weather, he fit more words in. Remember when William Shire put cherry gelatin in my drink in the dream, and then the mail truck came to his studio and lurched and pinned me down? I was involved in creating a soup with pickles in it. It was the perfect soup. There's no end to these dreams. If only I could remember to solve problems. What does hot pickles connote? I dream with the streetlight on my face, if only loss were less exotic. What time is it? I used to feel one way as a child awakening, and do they? Once went on to forever. Now athletic in the seasons, like poetry. I'm refusing to understand what I mean. But you're doing some kind of moving too. Insensate concatenations of two minds banging things in bed. Bed's a solid word. What's this lethargy in limbs? I don't stop to prove I'm not so old. Now I'm somewhat old. The winter is old. We dream, we yell, making unheard of noises. It's sweet to wake to some extent. I wonder what we'll be like when we're really old. Some old people live on one can of soup a day. The soup of too much thought seems to be making us rust and hungry. I remember dreaded childhood awakenings in the ice-cold room, wondering if there's time to put laid-out clothes under covers to warm them before rush to dress, sometimes forgetting some of the underwear. Grandfather wouldn't waste heat. They shoveled coal into a furnace. The room was still a dark one. These pillows are walking away with my affections, waking in Great Barrington, almost perfectly in the path of the rising sun, so as never to miss anything. Going to sleep there, alone in the dark, silent, isolated house with so many secret rooms. Not my house. Usually there are dreams of the unexpected secret extra room down a hallway which extends the house into the world. This room happens to be red, white, and blue. I wonder what are some new things to drink. Breathing love, do I deprive you of anything? Tea's always something to drink. Tea once said cheese wasn't food. A long day in which to reform all this adoring to something. What is it? It's bad enough in midwinter if nothing else happens. I might get used to becoming you, and no one would think that was good. Then I'd feel lost as a simple body. We are not going to exactly the same tasks every day, and beginning with warm feet. You are too nervous anyway. We repeat a lot because of the children, which I can't get used to saying. They don't know logic at all. It's okay to say kids, but when someone says the kid, I don't like it. Small babies or infants are supposed, in the mythology, to be women's penises. I meant to say psychology. Marie would like to have one, so she puts a shirt or a ruler between her legs. I think she thinks about her diaper as a penis, and so she doesn't want to lose it. Mabel said we forget how comfortable they are. What did I lose anyway? Not a hair of her head. Here's my license. I never used it. Like your father's diplomas, he's a lawyer and a real estate agent, but he never practiced. What an asinine use of the word. Either of them. Like the pencil in my dream. I wonder if Ted is still in the electricians' union. Is it wrong to steal? Rightly, just like memory who needs it badly. An affectation. Like a scarf called worn jauntily, or the noise of the buttons on my cuffs brushing the bed in time to a rhyme. Marie hears every noise the same. She doesn't hear anything. The bed is like a typewriter. Sometimes I think the bed's a refrigerator with the holographic head of a man in dichroic color to be seen in ambient light on the door. I mean the cover of the book the bed is. You do look all the time at some of the same things until the names of objects might as well fall off. Then maybe you die. That's the scare of mornings. It's loose or lush, like this or blood, but darker than it ought to be. It all has a beauty and a structure I haven't seen all of yet, like a story. I always forget the most important part. Go back black to sleep's gray. Who'd ever read it anyway? Only the ones who already know me. It's no great mystery at this rate. History might pass us by as a group of unrelated people, ordered out of the same house. We could be better poets just on the phone. I better hurry to accommodate my family to see what's going to happen with them today. Every morning's the same dawning before it's talked about or told, like the dull man who wanted to tell the dream he had of you a week ago. Then he never said it. He just said it was recurrent. Doesn't everybody know everything or not? Please let me know. Isn't the truth always the same, firm as a tree? Is it an accident or pose that I say what I say? Can I look into the dream room and then run away? Doesn't everybody know everything or not? Please let me know. Then I'll tell you how each day is different. A tree, it's true, can be thought to be you. I don't know logic either. Babies are as if insane. Doesn't something, whatever it is, seem so diagrammed, not like a sentence, not like turning over to have another dream, but the consequent rest? What I mean is once life begins, it has a stasis, or a balance, or a standing that is what it is. It's not mechanical. What's strange is this. Eyes, windows, children, words, even the seasons, not to speak of feelings. Sleep is ship's gray, deck paint put on the floor of an immobile house. This ship's deck of cards is spilling into the ocean unwittingly. I can't remember anymore. I have to see something new, like a model or a star, so concerned with the figure of sun before air through the window like a page near the invented bed we share in a room we rent for shelter from the elements as I am to speak. And I look out. There's no fiction in it. The supplicating weather is either this or that. Today it's the saintly gray so far. There's nothing to it. Sleep is so morose, so loose and slack. To slip and sick in something like a lapse of something natural and regularly recurring. in a condition of lack of what we call consciousness, thought, sensation, movement, even love. Just like death, I slept. Now I know enough to ask, what do you hear when I listen? This morning I have both, a heart exchanging a guilty love for everyone, for love is the same. And you, what is your substance, and whereof are you made? That millions of strange shadows on you tend, since everyone has, everyone, one shade, and you but one, can every shadow lend? There's something I want to say, I don't know how to put it. Brightest sun that dies today lives again as blithe tomorrow. But if we dark suns of sorrow set, oh then, how long a night shuts the eyes of our short light? Don't take what I say too seriously or too lightly. I'm sorry, never mind. I was just playing around. I'm trying to find what I guess I'd rather not know consciously. I'd like to know what kind of person I must be to be a poet. I seem to wish to be you. Love is the same and does not keep that name. I keep that name and I am not the same. You, Shakespeare, Edwin Denby and others, Catullus. I have nothing else to say. The anonymous. Blue sky is gray. I love your being in my unresisting picture. All love seen, all said is dented love's saluted image. In the ending morning, nothing said is mean. Perhaps it's too long. I'm only learning, along with love's warning, to invent a song. Then, for the breath of words, respect me for my dumb thoughts. Speaking in effect, this was my dream. Now it is done. Oof. Well, thanks for listening, if you got that far. Oof. That was fun, though.